Salam everyone, I hope you're all doing well inshallah. My name's Aziza if you're new here. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for returning. This video is going to be a follow-up video sort of to my labour and delivery story because I got cut off at the end so my battery was running low. So today's video is going to be a continuation and it will be a bit about my postpartum recovery. Mainly this video will be a Q&A from the questions you sent me on Instagram and on this anonymous thingy that I used in case you don't want me to know who you are and what profile you belong to, and you wanted to ask a question that you weren't too comfortable showing your profile with. So yeah, I'm just gonna get straight into it. I think on my labour and delivery story I had finished off with saying that I was wheeled down to like a recovery ward or something. It wasn't quite the like postnatal ward where you kind of like get your admin stuff done and you go home, because I told you that I had like quite severe bleeding and I needed to be stitched. It took a while to be stitched up and all that sort of stuff. I had needed to be observed, so still on the epidural. I was sort of just wheeled off in that bed that I gave birth in. No, was I? No, I wasn't. They transferred me to another bed, but because of the epidural my legs were so heavy I couldn't move myself, so they literally, some of them had to like help pick me up to get into this other bed, and so that was fun. Postpartum in the hospital, although my labour and delivery story is quite positive, the postpartum period in which I was in hospital, which was about 2 days, quite negative to be honest with you. So if you don't want to hear that negativity, then you can skip ahead to the Q&A part of the video. Anyway, went down to the recovery or whatever ward it was that I don't know the name of, and I had my daughter obviously with me. I told my husband to go home to sleep because he would obviously been awake since about 2 AM and like I was doing alright. Epidural was still in me, I was still on lots of painkillers, so I couldn't feel anything. Anyway, so went downstairs. I had probably about 2 or 3 hours sleep postpartum. Oh, I just forgot to say, before we actually left that room, we did like the adhan in my daughter's ear, we did tahniq, we just had like family time, we did a bit of picture taking and that sort of stuff. But that was so short. It was really short because they wanted to just, I guess they just needed to move me. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So I had a couple of hours sleep, woke up to pain. Oh my god, it was horrid pain. So imagine, like I said before, they had packed me because I had bled so much. They packed me with like this cotton padding, and just imagine like something has sucked all of the moisture out of you in such a sensitive area and it just hurts. You've been stitched up. I woke up and I was in so much discomfort and pain that I literally just kept pressing the bell. I was like, hold on a sec, I can manage it. But then it started to get way worse. I was like, well, maybe I need some medicine. I was like, no, let me keep pressing it. As soon as the midwife came, I was like, get this thing out of me. I don't know what it is, I don't want it there anymore, it hurts, just get it out of me. And yeah, I was kind of crying at the same time because it was really painful. She came back and she took it out and yeah, alhamdulillah, instant relief. It wasn't like pain-free obviously because I'd just given birth and there was like tears and grazes and that sort of stuff and stitches and stuff like that, but it was better than before. Anyway, postpartum in the hospital, they show you how to breastfeed if you need help with breastfeeding. I was harvesting colostrum with one of those like little what they like, the suction, I have no idea what they're called, they just slipped my brain. Baby brain is still real, even more than a year postpartum, very much still real. And so this was the early hours of Saturday morning. I stayed in hospital until 10 PM Sunday night. So in all, I was in hospital for about 3 days, like 3 full days and 2 nights. Yeah, it was sort of like waiting around a lot. Anyway, so they came back to check on me because I had lost quite a bit of blood. They took some more bloods, and bear in mind I still had my catheter in my hand. I still had my cannula in my hand, in my right hand, and I still had a catheter on, so I was still immobile. I still couldn't move. So my daughter was right beside me in the little plastic crib that they put the newborn babies in. Yeah, she was all fine, alhamdulillah, everything was good with her. I was kind of the issue, so they took some more blood to see like how my blood was doing, because like I said, they had to stitch me up because I lost a lot of blood, and then apparently I had become anemic. My memory's going to be a bit hazy here, so I might not remember the whole thing and then leave parts out, but I'll just share as much as I can remember. Apparently I had become anemic and they needed to get my iron levels up. Bear in mind, for whatever reason, I'm not too sure, I don't remember why, but I wasn't allowed to eat, and I pretty much could only drink water. So imagine after you've just given birth to a child, yeah, you can't even have a bit of toast, do you know what I mean? It's quite hard. So at this point I hadn't eaten in about a day. I had that meal deal from Tesco around midday, 11 AM on a Friday. This was then Saturday, going into the afternoon now. I hadn't eaten. They were basically saying that I needed to increase my iron levels in whichever way I can. So I was just like trying to drink more water. Same time I couldn't eat, so I was like, how was I doing that? And then they kept coming back, checking my iron levels, and apparently they were dropping. I was like, well, of course they're gonna drop because I haven't eaten anything. I've literally just had a workout and I need energy. I've lost blood. I've lost lots of blood as well, and so my body's trying to, guess, compensate for that in some way. My iron levels of course will be low. I'm anxious, I'm stressed, like I want to be with my baby. It's hard to pick up my baby and hold my baby with a cannula. It is a cannula, not a catheter. With a cannula in my hand. My husband did come back like a couple hours after he left, by the way, a few hours after he left, so he got a bit of sleep. So most of that Saturday we were just sort of like lounging around, just with our daughter, taking pictures, not really knowing what was happening. Around lunchtime they'd offer me a sandwich. I was like, do you know what, I'm gonna take the sandwich, and because I'm not allowed to eat it, I won't eat it now, but I'll eat it for I'll save it for later if I'm allowed to eat then. And so I saved it, ate the food whenever, and I started to feel a little bit better because I'd eaten some food. Bear in mind, I'm still in the bed. I still haven't gone to the toilet because I'm still attached to a catheter. I'm literally immobile. I can't shower. I still have like the blood under my nails until a midwife finally saw that, oh, like someone hasn't taken care of you, or do you know what I mean? I completely understand and appreciate that the NHS is, and how underfunded they are, so I completely understand it. I'm not saying anything bad about the NHS, by the way. I'm just saying that it was sort of, when you're in such a vulnerable place, it's sort of like annoying to have to press the alarm all the time and need that help, because you just want to be able to like know what's happening and just leave. Anyway, so let's forward to Sunday. I needed to have a blood transfusion because my levels were still really low. My iron levels were still low. I was like, okay, I mean, they gave me a blood transfusion, and I'm getting impatient because I'm saying to my husband, like, I've been in hospital for 2 days already, don't really know what's happening. They're saying I need to get my iron levels up, but I don't really know how to do that. Oh, by the way, they also put me on a drip, just to make sure that I was getting enough fluids, although I was drinking as well. So they put me on a drip to help with the iron levels. Iron levels came back still low, so they said, right, we need to give you a blood transfusion. They set that all up, and of course, because I've still got the cannula in one hand, where they're going to have to put the other cannula, they're going to have to put it in the other hand. So there's me just like on the bed like this. I can't get up, I can't move, I can't hold my daughter. Of course I want to hold my daughter, so I was trying to hold my daughter. My husband was helping me, and so I was holding her sort of like without my hands, just like that. I can't feed her. It's so hard. It gets me emotional thinking about it, because this was a breaking point for me, and this is where I started to get really upset. And it's no one's fault, I get it. I'm just like trying to like have that bonding time with her. Suddenly the cannula must have come out of my hand, and the blood from the blood transfusion started to go on my daughter. I was just like, what is going on? What is this for? What is this all about? So my husband, this is when I was telling my husband, I was like, look, I don't know why we're here, I don't know why they're keeping us here, but I need to go home, like I need to leave now. My husband was like, nah man, what is this? What's happened? She's had new blood, like why is she still like this? And I told him, I was like, look, I've barely eaten, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I want to hold my daughter, I can't hold her. Like there's obviously other things happening that is making my blood not want to be normal. I was like crying to one of the midwives, like angrily. I was just like, look, I understand you're trying to do your job, and I appreciate you're trying to do your job, but I've barely had anything to eat. I've had a whole blood transfusion, blood's gone on my daughter, I don't know what's happening, I haven't showered, I haven't even gone to the toilet, I just need to leave now. And then that sort of started getting the ball rolling, and the doctor came in. It was a male doctor, so obviously I had to cover up and everything. And my husband had this theory that they were trying to keep me there for some sort of like numbers thing, statistical thing, people of other backgrounds needing more assistance. I don't know how accurate that is, but my husband had that theory, and I was like, oh, do you think that's what they're trying to do? If I'm leaving, you're leaving against medical advice and all that, and because you're leaving against medical advice, you'd have to have a follow-up a week later, and you'd have to sign a particular form or anything or something like that. They had to give me loads of these medications to take. They had to give me iron tablets because of my low levels of iron. They also had to give me blood thinners. So 10 days after I'd given birth, I had to stab my thigh with blood thinners, and they gave me these really strong painkillers, which were, alhamdulillah, they were good. I didn't finish them because, alhamdulillah, my recovery wasn't too bad. But eventually we left the hospital about 10 PM on the Sunday night. Did I get a call a week later to come back? No. Did I have a paper to sign? No. Against medical advice? No, I didn't have anything to sign. So that was like my husband's theory. Was it true? Were they trying to keep me for whatever reason, or did they just forget? Do you know what I mean? We had our own conspiracy theory going on. I think that's all that sort of happened when we were at the hospital. We got home, alhamdulillah. My recovery, I guess within like about 2 weeks, alhamdulillah, such a good recovery. I had a second degree tear. If you watched my last video, you know that. I had a second degree tear. Because it was internal, I think it helped with the healing process a lot more. So it took about 2 weeks until I could, like, I felt normal again. Some midwives came over a couple of weeks after and they, you know, checked everything was fine. Everything was fine, healing nicely. And yeah, sort of went about stuff like that. But then the real hard stuff kicks in, the thing called motherhood.